Thank you very much for joining us tonight on The Link. This is a place where we give information that you can use to make business and economic decisions, but also a place for opportunities. And I promise that 2023 we shall look for those opportunities and bring them to you. In the studio tonight, my guest is Mr. Samuel Mugasi, who is the Executive Director for the NAADS Secretariat. Some of you know NAADS for empowering you and getting households out of poverty. Mr. Mugasi, welcome.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, NTV.
Very good. Recently, I heard that government through NAADS is promoting high-value crops. Now many people are wondering, hey, what is this now? Please explain to us this new initiative and how will it work?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam, my namesake. It is true, the government through NAADS is taking up what we are calling high-value crops. Okay. And these include avocado, they include macadamia and cashew nuts. Okay. Now, we have taken careful studies looking at the global markets, global trends, and we have taken a decision that we must introduce these crops to our farmers. And we have looked at the economics, the chibalo, at farm level,
the math,
and we are convinced that this is the way to go. So beginning 2 years ago, we started looking at literature available, looking at the global markets, looking at the prices, studying from our neighbors like Kenya, and we think now we are ready to go and start implementing these two commodities. And therefore now, as a government, as NAADS, we are supporting farmers to grow avocado, to grow macadamia and cashew nuts. And this has been our maiden start. This season that has just ended, we supported farmers across the country. And this time, we have changed gear, so to speak, because what we are doing now, we are working through what we are calling nucleus farmers. Okay. And in this effort, we are trying to ensure that we take care of the entire value chain. Because, these are perishables. These are crops. Yeah. It's not like a shop where you can stay with goods for a whole month or for 2 months. So we must make sure that we are airtight across the value chain, right from when the farmer plants up to the market. Okay. And we are trying to make sure that this value chain is well developed and in a sustainable manner. So indeed, yes, it is true. We are supporting these two commodities. Yeah. And we're mobilizing countrywide to make sure that farmers are not left out of these two high-value crops, macadamia, avocado, and cashew nuts.
All right. For many years, many people have known NAADS to support them through, distribution of seedlings and all the suckers and all this cassava, etc. Has this mandate changed? Is this a new kind of mandate for the institution?
Well, we are still in the business of agriculture, which is the main mandate. What is changing is that we are now bringing some new crops. Okay. But maybe what is also changing is that the way we are operating, the methods of work are changing. Because along the way, we have learned lessons. We have seen what can work and what cannot work. Yeah. And therefore now we are introducing what we are calling the nucleus farmer model. Now this nucleus farmer model is an efficient way of building sustainable value chains working with the private sector. Okay. And this is how we are working. We have partnered with about 8 nucleus farmers across different parts of the country. And these nucleus farmers, over the time, have built capacity to raise high-value, clean planting materials. Okay. And this I'm referring to seedlings. So these nucleus farmers, they help us to raise seedlings. And then we work with the nucleus farmers to distribute these seedlings to registered farmers. Okay. Farmers who have shown interest, farmers who are ready to plant. And once farmers plant these seedlings, now the nucleus farmer also helps us provide technical information, extension services, technical advice to the farmers. In other words, we are trying to build a nucleus farmer outgrower relationship. So you have a nucleus farmer in an area X, for example, in Mayuge, and then this nucleus farmer builds a network of outgrowers. You get the point? A network of outgrowers around him or her, and then they see these new outgrowers through the entire process, from the time of acquisition of the planting materials to planting. They help them to manage the crop through extension services, up the time of harvesting. These nucleus farmers are now building capacity to buy whatever is harvested by these farmers. So they are managing the entire value chain. Provide seedlings, then also provide market when harvest time comes. Now, we are also encouraging these nucleus farmers to start adding value. And indeed, some of them, as we speak now, some of them are building capacity for value addition. Like oil extraction, like sorting, packaging for export. So we are looking at strengthening these two value chains because we want to avoid situations where farmers go into this crop, they produce.
Production is high.
And they are stranded with the produce. So we are trying to avoid that scenario, and that's why we are going into this strong partnership with outgrowers. These outgrowers, some of them already have markets abroad. Some of them have markets in the Middle East. Others have markets already in China. So we hope this new approach will help to build sustainable value chains. Because we met challenges in fruits. You have seen pineapples on the streets here.
Pineapple, yes.
So we are trying to say, look, we want to go in having learned lessons. And these lessons are that don't just distribute seedlings, but rather look at the entire value chain. And this is the new work method, which we think is going to be efficient and deliver results at the end of the day.
Somebody will wonder, Mr. Mugasi, that, okay, how do you work with the nucleus farmers in terms of support? People need to understand the real government role. Please outline government's role, because this guy is already there, they're doing stuff. So when do you come in?
Thank you. Now, first of all, these nucleus farmers have already established their own capacity. They have huge chunks of land. They have established nurseries. And some of them, as I've said, already have processing capacity. So when we come in, we are trying to leverage their already built up capacity. But government will also see how to support them. For example, in the area of certification. Because these nurseries must be certified so that they are sources of good planting material. So government comes in to help them in that certification process.
Which is expensive.
Which is expensive certification. To make sure that nurseries are certified. But also to help them build capacity further. Because we are now training, we are now building capacity through our inspectors, through our extension workers. So we want to help these nucleus farmers to build capacity, especially for nurseries, to make sure that they have clean planting material. Now, when it comes to export, their government also can play a very big role because exports also need certification. Government can also come in to leverage, to negotiate markets abroad through our missions, through our embassies. So government can play a role, especially also at marketing. But besides that, we are also helping the nucleus farmers on the part of mobilization. We are working closely in this with the local governments, with the district authorities, to mobilize more farmers because we want to have critical mass that can attract investors.
Mobilization takes quite some funds.
Absolutely. So we are also helping in that regard to mobilize more farmers, to build capacity of the nucleus farmers, to make sure they have the adequate capacity. When they were still on their own, they were still really stranded in a way. But now we are trying to help them, organize them. And also at another level, we are trying to create a platform for discussion, to share information across the board. Because they are now still doing things individually. We want to bring them together and eventually maybe have like a national association where we can share information, train them, and also, get market together, and also agree on standards. Because standards are very, very critical. You don't just market anything. So we are also going to be helping the nucleus farmers and also the outgrowers to make sure they meet the international standards. You have heard of sanitary and phytosanitary requirements. So we are going to work with the relevant departments in the Ministry of Agriculture to make sure that we build the capacity of the farmers, outgrowers, to meet the standards. For example, the markets out there, the size, for example, of a fruit matters a lot.
It's important, I agree.
how does the skin look like? You don't just throw anything in a box and export.
No.
So we are studying the markets and what they require. And this is the information we bring back to train, to make sure that we meet the standards. We don't want rejections of our exports.
And loss of investment.
And loss of investments, and then you are undermining the value chains.
Absolutely. One last question in 1 minute, Mr. Mugasi.
Yes.
So other people are saying now there are only 8 nucleus farmers and they are growers. For us, can we play a role? Is there such an opportunity all people are cut out?
No, nobody's going to be cut out, Sam. This is the beginning. But they say Gachari Mavaga, isn't it? This is the beginning, and we will be rolling out eventually.
Okay.
And we are starting cautiously. We don't want to start everywhere, and we are starting cautiously, systematically, and then roll out as we learn.
Okay.
And of course, we have seen a lot of interest, a lot of excitement among many farmers, and we want to advise that farmers shouldn't rush to say, I want to grow.
Wait.
Take your time, understand the crop, because there are many things that you require to have in place before you can embark on these high-value crops.
Okay.
The fact that they are high-value crops means that if you lose, you lose a lot.
And what is expected is also high.
Absolutely.
Of you.
So the value is high, but also the risk is high. We therefore caution all farmers out there to approach us. For example, if you want to know where do you source materials from, how do you get clean planting materials, so that we can advise you. The soil requirements, how do you plant, how do you manage weeds, how do you prune, how do you harvest? So we want to caution farmers not to rush into and then they start regretting. So we are producing information which we shall be sharing with farmers. Approach us anytime you want to start. You can approach an extension worker at the district, but again, beware of buying wrong materials, because many people are raising nurseries across the country. Some of them you find them on the roadside. So please, our plea, our advice is that don't buy wrong planting materials.
All right.
Approach us, we can guide you, we will guide you on where you can get the right material for planting and how to manage your orchard. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel Mugasi, ED of NAADS Secretariat. Viewers, can you say we don't have opportunities here on the link? We do. And the time doesn't allow us to let Mr. Mugasi continue the whole story, but now most of you know where NAADS is. You can even find them online. Get their numbers, call them if you want to participate. They will advise you and say, go slow here. Please don't go it alone. Seek for advice. We hope we added value to you. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well,